Hi, I am Erika from ErikaSrogginsJewelry, and today I'm going to show you how to make some cute hoop earrings. You're going to need some 20 gauge round wire. It doesn't matter what the metal type is, just as long as it's round wire. You're going to need some bail making pliers, 28 gauge weaving wire, tweezer nose pliers, nylon jaw pliers, flush cutters, some earring backs, and a cut burr. You need to cut your wire into 4.25 inch portions, and you're going to need 6 pieces, and that's going to be 3 for each earring. So I'm just going to adjust my wires on my ruler to where they're all lined up, and then I'm going to find the center point and mark that. I'm just going to mark all the way across all the wires. That way they all match, and I know they do. You're going to mark 14 millimeters out from your center point on each side. Also, I'm going to post some links in the description below for the tools and the materials that you're going to need, along with the list. Now, you're going to want to go ahead and separate your wires into 2 sets of 3. Go ahead and straighten your wires. You need them all to be straight so that they line up right. Just go ahead and line them up. And make sure that the little blue marks line up correctly, because you're going to weave from one blue mark to the other, and just skip the middle mark. Put your weaving wire down through the base wires, and you're going to want to wrap around that first wire 2 times. And then bring your weaving wire up between the last 2. After you've wrapped your first wire there. And then back down between the first 2. And this is going to allow you to wrap that center wire there. And then just wrap the very last wire. And you're going to wrap that last wire again. You can press your wire to your weaving wire up together. That way you have a straight line that goes across all your base wires. Go ahead and wrap that middle wire again. And then wrap your first wire. Now you're going to go across all 3. wrap the first wire again, the second wire again, the third wire again, and you're going to wrap the third wire again one more time. And then wrap your middle wire, and then your first wire. Now this is a full rotation. A rotation is the portion of a pattern, of your weave. You're going to want to do as many rotations as you need to make it to the other side of your base wires where you marked your measurement at. Go ahead and just keep pushing those wires together just so that everything stays nice and lined up. You can also give it a gentle squeeze. This helps to bind the wires against the base wires just so everything looks nice and tidy. Once you get to the end, you need to wrap 2 times on the first wire. And then make sure everything is pushed together nice and snug so you have a tight weave. Now you have the tail ends of your wire here. You're going to use your flush cutters to trim these as close to your weave as you can get. And then use your tweezer nose pliers just to bend the rest of whatever's left over around that first wire. And you're going to do the same thing on both sides. This is just to ensure that nothing moves around after you have put it into place. Use your tweezer nose pliers to bend the shortest side of your earring up. Now you're going to do this on all 3 wires. Spin them up toward the back of your weave. Now you're going to want to finish that bend off and just bend them all the way up against the back of your earring. And do this with each one of your wires, your base wires. Use your tweezer nose pliers to make sure that everything is nice and snug on the tip there. That's a very important step. Okay, now you're going to want to go about 8 to 10 millimeters up from where you just bent your base wires up. And then just bring the first base wire out and around to the front. Use your bail making pliers to put the impression of a curve into the metal. That way it has some memory of being curved. Use your fingers just to press that curve down against the front of your earring. And then finish this curve off with your tweezer nose pliers. You need to make sure that this curve is larger than the rest because the other 2 wires are going to be curved inside of this one. So keep that in mind as you're adjusting. I'm going to hold just under the curve with my tweezer nose pliers. Place your tweezer nose pliers just right at that tip there and give it a nice squeeze. Go up 12 millimeters and then bring that second wire on around. And you're going to curve it around to the front. Use your bail making pliers to put that memory of the curve into your metal. I'm going to use my tweezer nose pliers just to make sure everything's snug, and then press this wire down with my thumb. And I'm going to use the tweezer nose pliers to finish off this curve to make sure that it matches the inside of the larger curve that I made first. Bring that last wire around to the front of my earring. So instead of 12 millimeters up, I'm going to go up about 13 to 14 millimeters, and then I'll bend that third wire around. I'm going to use my bail making pliers just to put a little bit of memory into this wire of being curved, and then use my tweezer nose pliers to finish the curve. So I'm just doing a little bit at a time until I see that it's going to fit. So I'm going to grasp my earring right where I put those curves in, and then bend those tail ends around to the back of my earring. I'm going to use my tweezer nose pliers just to make sure that everything is nice and snug. And then I'm going to press those tail ends down as close to my weave as I can get them. I'm going to use my flush cutters to cut all of the wires. Make sure that the flat part of your flush cutters is facing your earring. That way you don't have any triangle shaped cuts. So I'm going to make sure that my weave is nice and tight, and then I'm going to begin bending the right wire and the left wire on the top. I'm going to leave this middle wire alone, and I'm just going to bend it in toward the back of my earring. Now I'm going to use my zircons to finish those bends off, and then I'm going to go ahead and grasp that tip. I'm going to grasp about 3 to 4 millimeters up, and then just bend that tail end of that wire on around to the face of your earring. And then I'm going to do the same with this one. I'm just going to grasp the tip of it and bring those tail ends on around to the back and cut them with my wire cutters. Press the back of the tail ends of the wire down onto the back of your earring as snug to the back as you can get them. Now, when you do your other earring, you're going to want to do the curves in the opposite direction. So basically, you're just bending them all in the opposite direction. I'm going to use my bail making pliers to bend my earrings. So I'm going to use the largest barrel on this and just put the tip of my earring in it and go ahead and bend it on around very slowly because they're chunky. And then just go ahead and bend it on the rest of the way around. If you get to the center and you need to, just flip your earring around and bend from the top down. So I'm bending from the top down now with my bail making pliers. I'm going to adjust everything just to make sure everything looks nice and tidy with my tweezer nose pliers, and make sure all of my wires are nice and tight. And now we have a really gorgeous set of earrings. Now, I've marked the ear wires at 9.25 millimeters, and I'm going to go ahead and trim these with my flush cutters. I'm going to use my cup burr to round off the ends of my earrings because these are not for piercing. They don't need to be sharp. Also, you can take your cup burr and place it against the wire between the cup burr and your finger and twist it, and it'll put that groove around your ear wire so that you can put your earring back on. Thank you so much for watching my tutorial and making these with me. These are awesome, and you're awesome. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you'd like to. Thank you.